What's up YouTube, this is Brad from BT Outdoors. We're continuing with the month of April being do-it-yourself month. However, today is May 2nd, so I'm sorry. So this is the last video on the DIY bow setup. This is the final thing before you can actually go and sight in your sights and then actually go shooting, go hunting. This is the last thing you need to do. This is a paper tuning video. Basically what paper tuning is you're lining up your rest with your sight. There's also something called walk back tuning, but I just feel like paper tuning is a lot more precise than walk back tuning because I'm not the best shooter past 30 or 40 yards. That's stupid to say, but I don't practice from that distance. This year is my goal that I'm going to be shooting at least 5 arrows from 70 yards at least twice a week, just so I can really focus in and dial in not only my muscle memory, but just my skill level in general. I don't think I would ever take an animal past 40, 50 yards. I'm not comfortable from that distance, but I just want to, like I said, get muscle memory and just get confidence. That being said, walk back tuning involves shooting from 40, 50 yards, and what you're looking for is you want your arrows to fall straight in line. Most of the time, if your rest is off, either left or right, your arrows are going to fall left and right. And I just feel like at that distance, unless you're a professional, unless you have been shooting bows for a long time, you practice for those distances, I just feel like you're not going to get a consistent judge of where your rest needs to be. Because those far distances, you're going to be shooting some tight groups, but those tight groups aren't going to be really enough to fine tune where your rest should be. It might be close for some people, but I just like to be super... I just made eye contact with the mailman. That was weird. So I just like to know that I'm super consistent and my rest is exactly where it should be. So that's why I like French tuning. You're only shooting from 3 yards and 9 yards, and you're shooting at a piece of string or a piece of paracord, and you're trying to split that paracord every time. I feel like that's just way more precise, a way better judge of what you're doing. Yes, you're shooting from close distances, but if you can shoot a paracord, then you're solid. All that being said, after I get done French tuning, I will actually go and walk back tune. Just to see if my arrows still fall in line after the French tune, because if they're not, then I know that something else is wrong, either with my form, like I said, cam lean. I should have fixed that when I paper tune, but I just like to do a walk back tune after I French tune just to make sure everything is solid. And I think eventually I will do a walk back tune video, but that's going to be a lot later. So basically how you French tune is you shoot at 3 yards and you shoot right at a string, a piece of string hanging straight down from your target. And either you're right or left, you adjust your sight first. Then once you are splitting that string, you want to split it. You don't want to be close, you don't want to be touching it. You want to drive that string right into your target. Then after you do that, you're going to move back to 9 yards and you're going to shoot again, and your rest will be off, and you want to move your rest to until you can hit, like I said, split that string, and then you know that your rest and sight are perfectly lined up. So for French tuning, I've just got a piece of paracord going right down the center of my target. And then I've just got something heavy tied to the end of it, so that paracord lies super straight. So I'm going to stand at 3 yards and I'm going to split that string right in half. So that's a perfect example of what I was talking about. I pretty much bent the string, but that's not good enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my sights to the right. I'm going to follow my arrow, move my sight to the right, maybe 1 notch. And with the easiness of this sight, it's all toolless, so I just have to loosen that up a bit, and I'm going to go about 1 notch to the right. I don't know if the camera can pick up those notches. So I'm going to go 1 notch, or probably 1 notch to the right. Alright, 1 more arrow. So it looks like I went a little bit too far left, so I'm going to move my rest, or my sight, back to the left. That's exactly what you want to do. Alright, let's move back to 9 feet. So this was kind of hard for me to wrap my brain around when I first started French tuning, is how come when I'm dead center I split that string and then I move back to 9 yards? It's only a difference of 6 yards, so why am I dead on my string at 3 yards but I go back to 9 yards and my arrow is like 2 inches right or 2 inches left? The reason for that is because if your rest is off just a tiny degree, I actually talked about this in one of the sight video, how to sight in your compound bow. I talked about that in that video. But basically, if your rest is even off a tiny 1 notch either left or right, over time, that arrow, the further distance that arrow travels, the further left or right it's going to become. So even only at 9 yards, you are going to see your arrow move either left or right, and that's why we have to fix it. It's such a dumb and simple concept, but really it can change the way you shoot your bow. So I feel like the past couple of videos when I've been talking about how to set up your bow, I've been stressing to follow your arrow. If you're sighting in your bow, you want to follow your arrow. That's not the case when you're setting in your rest. Everything's going to be opposite. So you want to move away from your arrow. Simple concept. There you guys go. Well, I guess that means that my rest is perfectly lined up with my sight. Again, that's never happened, but in the paper tuning video, I did have a perfect paper tune before I actually filmed the video, so that's not surprising. I might shoot one or two more just to make sure that's not a fluke, but your rest might be either a little right or left. So that's a pretty easy video to film, I guess. All the other videos in the description below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. And guys,